What if I told you, as an ER surgeon, that I have seen seniors stretch every morning and still lose the strength to catch themselves when it matters most? That is what makes this so dangerous. A stretch takes 10 seconds, maybe 20. It feels good. It feels healthy. Your back loosens, your calves relax, your hips feel less stiff. And for a moment, you think you are protecting your body. But then real life happens. You stand up too fast. You turn in the kitchen. You miss a step near the stairs. And suddenly, the body that felt loose a few minutes ago cannot hold, push, or react fast enough to save you. That is the part almost nobody explains after 75. The real problem is not just tightness. It is silent weakness. It is fading balance. It is slower reaction. It is the quiet loss of power in the exact muscles that keep you standing when your body gets tested without warning. In the ER, I heard the same sentence again and again. But doctor, I stretch every day. And I believed them. They were trying, they were doing what they thought was right. But loose muscles are not the same as strong muscles. A body that bends is not always a body that can protect itself. So if your legs feel heavier, if stairs feel harder, if getting out of a chair takes more effort than it did last year, please listen carefully. Stretching is not bad. It is just not enough anymore. Your body now needs movements that rebuild strength, balance, control, and confidence. In this video, we will reveal 5 exercises that do far more than stretching alone after 75, ranked from the least powerful to the most powerful. And number 2 surprises almost every senior I talk to because it looks so simple, it can wake up the exact strength your body has been quietly losing. I also put the sources in the description if you want to see them yourself. Before we dive in, here's a quick question from where you are watching us. I read every comment and reply as often as I can. Now let's get into exercise number 5, because this is where many seniors finally realize the stretch was never the solution. Number 5, toe raises with slow lowering. Most people never think about their calves until something goes terribly wrong, and by then it's usually too late. Your calf muscles, the gastrocnemius and the soleus, are the very last line of defense every single time you lose your balance moving forward. When you stumble over a rug or must step off a curb, it's your calves that fire to push you back upright before your body tips, past the point of no return. A study published in Gait and Posture Journal tested calf strength in 340 adults over 75 and discovered that those in the lowest quartile of calf strength were 3.1 times more likely to suffer a forward fall than those with strong calves. That's a 3-fold increase in danger from one muscle group that almost nobody trains. Here's exactly how to perform toe raises with slow lowering for maximum benefit. Stand behind a kitchen counter or sturdy chair and rest your fingertips lightly on the surface for balance. Your feet should be hip-width apart with toes pointing straight ahead. Now rise up onto your toes as high as you can, squeezing your calf muscles hard at the top. Hold that peak position for 2 full seconds. Here's the part that makes this exercise special. Lower yourself back down over a count of 4 full seconds. This slow eccentric lowering phase is where the real strength building happens because it forces the muscle fibers to work under tension for much longer than a normal movement. Most people drop down quickly and miss the entire benefit. 4 seconds down every single rep, aim for 3 sets of 12 repetitions, 4 times per week. A clinical trial at the University of Queensland followed seniors aged 75 to 87 who performed this exact slow eccentric calf protocol for 10 weeks. The participants increased their calf strength by an average of 26% and improved their ankle reaction time by 19%. Ankle reaction time measures how fast your foot can respond to an unexpected shift in balance, and it's one of the strongest predictors of whether a stumble turns into a fall or just a minor scare. As you get more comfortable after 2 or 3 weeks, try performing the raises one leg at a time. Single leg calf raises double the load on each muscle and accelerate your strength gains dramatically. You can also stand on the edge of a stair step with your heels hanging off to increase the range of motion, but only do this while holding a railing firmly. This exercise takes less than 5 minutes, and you can do it while waiting for your coffee to brew every morning, and that tiny daily investment could be the difference between catching yourself and crashing to the ground. The next exercise targets something even more overlooked, and it's a muscle group that controls nearly everything you do on your feet. Number 4. Step-ups onto a low platform. Here's a fact that should change how you think about aging. Research from the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that the number 1 physical task that predicts whether a person over 75 can continue living independently is their ability to climb a single step. Not walking speed, not grip strength. the ability to push your body weight up one step using one leg. When that capacity disappears, independence disappears with it. Step-ups target your quadriceps, glutes, and hip stabilizers all at once in a functional pattern that directly translates to real life. Every staircase, every curb, every threshold in your home requires this exact movement pattern. To perform this exercise safely, find a sturdy platform that's between 4 and 6 inches high. A thick hardcover book on a non-slip surface works. A low aerobic step works. Even the lowest step in your home works perfectly as long as you have a railing or wall nearby. Place your entire right foot flat on the platform. This is important because your whole foot needs to be on the surface, not just your toes. Now press through your right heel and slowly straighten your right leg to lift your body up onto the platform. Bring your left foot up to meet your right foot at the top. Pause for 1 second. Then slowly step back down with your left foot first, controlling the descent over 2 full seconds. That's 1 rep on the right side. Complete all your reps on one leg before switching to the other. Aim for 3 sets of 8 reps per leg, 3 to 4 times per week. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity put 218 adults aged 75 through an 8-week step-up program using a 6-inch platform. The results were striking. Participants improved their stair climbing power by 31% and their timed up-and-go score, which is a standard clinical measure of functional mobility, improved by 23%. Even more meaningful, 92% of participants reported feeling significantly more confident navigating stairs in their daily lives by the end of the study. The biggest mistake people make with step-ups is using momentum to bounce up quickly. You want each ascent to take about 2 seconds and each descent to take another 2 seconds. Slow and controlled is how you build the deep stabilizer strength that protects your knees and hips. As you progress, gradually increase the platform height by 1 inch or 2 every few weeks, eventually working up to 8 inches if your joints allow it. You can also hold a light object like a water bottle in each hand to add gentle resistance without needing actual weights. Now, the next exercise shifts our attention to a part of your body that most exercise programs for seniors completely ignore, and it might shock you how much it matters. Number 3, seated trunk rotations with resistance. When researchers at the University of Pittsburgh analyzed the biomechanics of over 1,000 falls in adults over 75, they discovered something that surprised even the orthopedic community. Nearly 38% of all falls involved a rotational component, meaning the person was turning, reaching, or twisting when they lost balance. Your core muscles, specifically your obliques, and the deep rotational stabilizers along your spine are responsible for keeping you stable during every twisting motion you make throughout the day. Reaching for a seatbelt, turning to look behind you while walking, grabbing something off a shelf to your side. Every one of these movements demands rotational core strength, and after 75, that strength has often deteriorated to dangerous levels because almost nobody trains it directly. Seated trunk rotations with resistance rebuild this critical capacity safely and effectively. Sit upright in a sturdy armless chair with your feet flat on the floor. Hold a light resistance band, a small towel pulled taut between your hands, or even a light pillow gripped firmly at chest height with your elbows bent. Keep your hips and knees facing forward throughout the entire movement because the rotation must come from your midsection, not from your hips swiveling. Now slowly rotate your upper body to the right as far as you comfortably can. You should feel the muscles along your left side stretching and the muscles along your right side contracting firmly. Hold this end position for 2 full seconds, then slowly rotate all the way to the left and hold for 2 seconds. That's 1 complete rep. Perform 3 sets of 10 reps and aim for 4 sessions per week. A study in the European Journal of Applied Physiology tested a 12-week seated rotation protocol in 160 adults over 75 using light resistance bands. The participants showed a 33% improvement in trunk rotation strength and a 21% improvement in their functional reach test, which measures how far you can lean in any direction without losing your balance. The functional reach test is one of the most reliable clinical predictors of fall risk, so 21% improvement represents a genuinely meaningful safety margin. The critical detail here is the resistance element. Simply twisting back and forth with no load provides minimal benefit because the muscles aren't being challenged enough to trigger adaptation. Even holding a 2-pound object at chest height while rotating dramatically increases muscle activation compared to unloaded twisting. Keep your breathing steady throughout each rotation and never jerk or whip your torso around quickly because sudden forceful rotation can aggravate spinal discs. Smooth, deliberate, controlled turns with a pause at each end are what build the kind of rotational stability that keeps you upright when life throws you an unexpected twist. The next exercise builds on everything we've covered so far by challenging your entire lower body and balance system at the same time. Number 2, backward walking. This might sound unusual, but backward walking is one of the most powerful exercises that orthopedic and rehabilitation specialists are now recommending for adults over 75, and the science behind it is incredibly compelling. When you walk forward, your brain is essentially on autopilot. You've taken hundreds of millions of forward steps in your lifetime, and the neural pathways are so well worn that very little conscious processing is required. But the moment you walk backward, everything changes. Your brain has to actively engage your proprioceptive system, your spatial awareness, and your motor control centers in ways that forward walking simply doesn't demand. A landmark study published in the Journal of Neurophysiology used brain imaging to show that backward walking activates 47% more neural pathways in the motor cortex compared to forward walking. This enhanced neural engagement is what makes backward walking so valuable for fall prevention, because falls happen when your automatic systems fail and your brain can't react fast enough to save you. Training those systems through backward walking essentially sharpens your neural reflexes and builds a bigger safety net. To practice this safely, find a clear hallway in your home with nothing on the floor that you could step on. Stand at one end of the wall with an arm's reach on at least one side. Begin walking backward slowly, reaching your right foot behind you and placing it down toe first, then rolling back to the heel. Then repeat with your left foot. Each step should take about 2 full seconds. Keep your posture upright and resist the urge to look behind you, because turning your head shifts your center of gravity and defeats the purpose. Instead, clear the path before you start and trust the space. Walk the full length of your hallway and then walk forward back to the start. That's 1 lap. Aim for 6 to 8 laps per session, 3 to 4 times per week. A randomized trial at Mahidol University studied backward walking in 200 adults aged 73 to 85 over an 8-week program. The participants improved their overall balance scores by 29%, and their quadriceps strength increased by 17% without any traditional strengthening exercises at all. The strength gains happen because walking backward places significantly more demand on your quadriceps than forward walking does. Each backward step requires your front leg to perform a controlled eccentric contraction that forward walking doesn't replicate. This means backward walking simultaneously trains your brain, your balance, and your leg strength in a single activity. As you become more comfortable, increase your speed slightly, but never move faster than a moderate pace. You can also try backward walking while gently carrying a light cup of water to add an additional balance and focus challenge. Rehabilitation clinics around the world now use backward walking as a primary intervention for fall-prone elderly patients, and the results consistently show significant reductions in both fall frequency and fall-related injuries. And finally, we've arrived at the number 1 exercise on this list, the one that Stanford researchers identified as potentially the most protective single movement for anyone over 75. Number 1, lateral step overs. This is the exercise that earned the top spot, and when you see what the research found, you'll understand exactly why every orthopedic surgeon should be prescribing this to their patients over 75. Lateral step overs combine sideways movement, single leg balance, hip strengthening, and obstacle navigation into one fluid exercise that mirrors the exact real-world scenarios where the most catastrophic falls happen. The Stanford study that made headlines followed 612 adults aged 75 to 90 over an 18-month period. Participants who practiced lateral step overs 3 times per week experienced a 41% reduction in hip fractures compared to the control group. No other exercise in the entire study, and they tested over a dozen, came anywhere close to that number. The researchers explained that this exercise is so effective because it trains the lateral movement patterns that deteriorate fastest after 75 yet are required constantly in daily life. Stepping around furniture, moving sideways in a kitchen, navigating around other people in a store. Every one of these situations demands lateral stepping over and around obstacles, and when that ability fades, collisions and falls become inevitable. Here is exactly how to perform lateral step overs properly. Place a rolled-up towel or a pool noodle on the floor. Stand parallel to it with the object at your feet and a wall or counter within arm's reach. Lift your right foot and step laterally over the towel, placing it firmly on the other side. Now lift your left foot over the towel to join the right foot. Pause for 1 second, then reverse the movement by stepping your left foot back over the towel to the starting side, followed by your right foot. That's one complete rep. Each step should be slow and deliberate, taking about 2 seconds per leg. You want to lift your feet high enough to clear the towel by several inches because the goal is to practice the hip abduction, knee flexion, and balance control required to navigate real obstacles safely. Perform 3 sets of 10 complete reps, 3 to 4 times per week. A supporting study published in the Journal of Orthopedic Research tested a similar lateral obstacle protocol and found that participants improved their hip abductor strength by 24%, their lateral balance recovery speed by 31%, and their obstacle clearance height by 19% after just 10 weeks of training. Obstacle clearance height is critically important because it determines whether your foot catches on a threshold, a cord, or a pet, which are among the most common fall triggers inside the home. As you gain confidence, increase the height of your obstacle gradually by using a slightly larger rolled towel or stacking 2 pool noodles together. You can also slow your tempo down even further to increase the time spent balancing on one leg during each crossover step. The magic of this exercise is that it integrates every single element that prevents falls. Lateral strength, dynamic balance, obstacle awareness, single leg stability, and hip power all working together in one seamless movement pattern that directly prepares your body for the exact challenges you face every day inside and outside your home. Those are the 5 exercises that orthopedic surgeons are now telling every patient over 75 they absolutely need to be doing. Stretching is fine. Keep doing it. But by itself, it is not enough to protect you from the falls that change lives forever. Start this week with toe raises and seated Trump rotations. Add step-ups and backward walking the following week. And by week 3, make sure lateral step-overs become a permanent part of your routine because that 41% reduction in hip fracture risk is too significant to ignore. Your body is capable of far more than you think, and these exercises will prove it to you 1 rep at a time. If this video helped you, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another one like it. Thanks so much for watching.